We are back on Morning Line. With us, Reverend Glenn Cranfield from over at the Nashville Rescue Mission, talking with him. We do this every year, and we could do it every month, to be honest with you. You don't want to forget about the work they do over there at the mission. But Thanksgiving and the holidays, it can be some of the harder times for folks, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, this time of the year is a great, exciting time, celebratory time, and festive time. For some people, it's a very lonely time.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You always think, if you're lucky enough, that holidays are a great fun time you look forward to. For some people, it is the absolute worst time.
Absolutely, Nick, you're so right.
And so at least you guys do your part to try to help on that. How many people do you think are going to go through for Thanksgiving meals tomorrow and Thursday?
But for the weekend, we'll have about between 7,000 and 8,000.
8,000. And we should say that the folks who do show up for meals, that is not all folks that are actually living there within the mission facilities, correct?
That's right. We feed more people each and every day than actually spend the night there. We'll spending the night be between 800 and 850. We'll do about 1,800 meals each and every day.
Breakfast, lunch, dinner.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And there's folks that are on the edge of homelessness and in poverty, and we encourage them to come and let us help you with your food and let you take your money and pay your light bill, your utility bill, or your rent bill. But if that's going to help you remain in your apartment, then we want to help you in that manner. So we encourage people to come in and let us help them out.
Just when folks do come in, is there a vetting, or initially you can't just show up and go walking in? There is security there, and with good reason. But how does it work if someone's watching this today and is on the edge of homelessness and they're concerned and thought maybe getting meal this way will help them keep the bills on their home? What do? They show up, and how does it work?
Well, they show up, they go through we have a metal detector. It's for their personal safety as well as everyone else in the facility, and also just a bag search. If they have a bag, we'll go through all of that, just like you'd normally expect in different places.
Fill out a little paperwork about who you are.
A little bit of paperwork, and then everyone meets with everyone, especially new. We ask you, is this your first time, or first time in a long time? And then we have a case manager that will meet with you real briefly, just to understand who you are, put your little information down so that we can get back with you and figure out how's the best way that we can help. You're welcome to take a shower, and spend the night here, and eat here 3 meals a day. But our bigger idea is how can we best serve you and help you to get out of this shelter.
And we should say there is obviously a faith component, should someone choose to, and many do, of course, but if for some reason someone doesn't mean they'd be turned away.
No, absolutely not. We are a faith-based organization. We do what we do because of our faith, and so it's not dependent upon you and your faith. It is us and our faith. And so we believe that God has called us and commissioned us and commanded us to care for the poor and to care for the homeless. Matthew 25:40. I was hungry and you fed me. I was naked and you clothed me. I was a stranger and you took me in. Those are the things that compel us to do what we do. And we have folks that come to the shelter that are of the Christian faith. We have some that are of other faiths, some of no faith, and we love them all the same.
That's what's awesome. And again, it should go without saying that, as he said, there's searches and security. Certain things will get you kicked out. Drugs, weapons, booze, and if
violence.
Get into violent acts. Those are the types of things. But you said through the vetting process and laying it out at the beginning, it's not a big issue.
It's not.
It's not. It's not like you're finding these things, they get along.
We have security cameras, we have security personnel all across the campus, and so we do a great job on the security of getting into the campus. And so once you're inside, you're grateful for the meal, you're grateful for the place to sleep. You don't want to be kicked out, so you're minding your P's and Q's.
Now, there are sometimes, especially when it gets very cold, do you sometimes have to turn people away? Not that you would not help them find another location, but are there times where you just are at capacity and can't?
No. In fact, that's kind of a misnomer. Folks a lot of times will say or think that we are at full capacity, and we may be as far as bed capacity goes, but no one is ever turned away. You're
going to find a spot for them somewhere.
We'll find a spot.
We
put mats down in the chapel. We will accommodate everybody. We don't want people to be out in the heat in the summertime or out in the cold weather in the wintertime. And so there's going want to be a place for everyone.
Okay, I'm glad we clarified that. You will not be turned away.
In fact, in some of the folks that have been barred, when it's dangerously cold, we relax some of those things and then compel them to come in into a certain room so that we can watch them and care for them, and because we don't want you out in the cold weather.
Yeah, how can you not sit here and listen to this and just realize what a wonderful organization this is? Gosh, and without it, these people, a lot of them would have no place to go. It's just wonderful. Let's go to Joe. Joe, good morning. Hi, Joe.
Good morning, Nick.
Morning to you.
Just a quick comment.
Sure.
Question. This is a great thing that people are doing, and the numbers are, I've never heard complete his numbers, but the staggering amount of people that's coming through his organization, and you've already answered some of my thoughts. I was just wondering if there were any qualifications to, for people to come to the rescue mission.
All right, just basics. Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
And I think you've answered some of them already, but is there anything else that would, make you be able to qualify or not qualify to come through the mission?
Yeah, great question, Joe. And we encourage everyone that's in need, homeless and poverty, hungry, we encourage you to come to the rescue mission. We don't check utility bills, utility statements. We think that if you're coming to the rescue mission, if you're choosing to come there, then you're in need.
Yeah, I think that's a great point, because I mean, we know there's charitable groups, and we know there's things like Social Security, disability, and things like this, where there are some who take advantage of it that really don't need it. The thing is, at the mission, when I see that, people don't want to be there if they don't have to be. And that's the truth. So it's not like people, they're going, well, I'm going to get a free meal and take advantage of this. When they have a home they can go to and eat themselves. You're not going to do that. If you have your choice, you would prefer to be in your home eating. And you're not, and it's not like you're giving them food to take. You have to eat it there. So if they're there, I think you're of the belief that there is a genuine need. There are not shysters trying to take advantage of you, because it's all going to be there. No one's doing that.
That's exactly right. And the really neat thing about it, with our case management staff on both campuses, we get to know you. And so everyone, you can't come in and just kind of fly under the radar, if you will. We get to know you. And so we understand what brought you here. We understand what brought you to Nashville, what brought you to the streets. How come you find yourself homeless, or maybe you're on the edge of homeless where you work. We find all that information out, and not for the purpose, of checking you out, but for the purpose of how can we best help you.
Of course, that's what's crucial, to understand that and then move forward. With regard to Joe's question about the people coming and the numbers, we talked on that. I'm just wondering, you as well as I do, and we were talking during the break about that piece of property that was the Sears store, which you own. As with everything else in Nashville, has exponentially increased in value. And you see all the development here. The thing about downtown Nashville now, I'm wondering if you're seeing, is this increasing homelessness to some degree here, because it's pricing people out. You cannot live in downtown Nashville, in my opinion, unless you're making a ton of money. I'm not going to put a number on it, but let's start at $500,000 a year. Okay, I'm just serious. Unless you have roommates and everything, to buy one of these high-end condos that are going up everywhere, they're a fortune. And they're replacing some things that maybe people could have afforded at one time. Are you seeing, is that having any impact that way?
It is in Nashville. We have talked with the different political parties, or the office of the mayor and different ones, about this term called affordable housing. And affordable housing is a big issue and being addressed by so many people, and that's right to do that. I was talking to a well-known developer just a few weeks ago, and he said, I want to provide affordable housing for the homeless. And I said, well, what does that mean to you? Because affordable housing, what we're talking about in our culture and our communication with the city, is not right for the homeless. It's not the same thing. And so the affordable housing is a need in Nashville, and as we address that, we're not addressing affordable housing for those that are in poverty. And so you're right. The incredible boom and the growth in Nashville is really squeezing that population even more so. And so to have a place where they can go and get help with food and with clothing, with different things like that, so that maybe they can stay in their house a little bit longer, stay in their apartment, and that's one of the great things that I like about what we do.
No kidding. Well, the thing is, when they finally do get to the point where if they do lose their apartment and they're out on the street, and then they come to you and they're trying to get back on their feet, I mean, like, aside from the cost of rent or buying a place, forget that, okay, just even if you find a very affordable apartment, it's been a long time, but I assume you still have to sometimes pay first and last rent.
Right.
You're going to have to pay for whatever utilities to get them started. Okay. You know, things have changed. Whether or not you need a phone, there is a lot of expense, even if you're lucky enough to find an apartment out there that's $500 a month.
Right.
Which is very affordable if you could find that somehow.
Right.
You know, just to get back into an apartment for these guys who have lost it, how do they do it?
Right. And one of the things you think about furniture, furnishings the apartment.
Yeah.
And so we work really hard in that. In our warehouse, we have beds that people donate, plates and pots and pans and so forth. And so when somebody leaves the rescue mission, they're so excited and goes to establish an apartment, then we're able to give them what they need so they don't have to go out and spend money that they don't have in order to get that on credit. We're able to give them those things to start a home.
Let's take another phone call. We'll go to Brian next. Good morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning to y'all. Just a little bit off topic, but it'll segue into what you're doing. I ran into Larry Britton out at a rehab home out towards like Loveless by the country, going towards where I live.
Yeah.
He was just rehabbing, he hurt his hip or something. I heard he's back at home. But anyway,
that's right.
You know, everybody for Thanksgiving, I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody and the homeless people. And I wanted to say, you know, a lot of the church groups, when they collect, like, you always see them collecting canned food. That's the big thing. And the second thing would probably be quotes for kids or some utilities, heaters. But I'll tell you, you can only eat so much canned food. And I don't know how to really say this. I don't want to say that I'm ungrateful, but if you eat too much canned food, I had a few years ago, at one point, you know, I was on a tight budget, and it'll give you a headache or something. You can't live on that. So I know that the Nashville Mission does good food, fresh food. And remember last year I called and I talked about, I asked him about the meals and stuff, and he said they're great. So maybe he could expand more upon the food. The food is of the soul. And lately I've been praying more, and you know, I just been mellowing out lately and stuff, and I think that it's a good thing. And I also wonder if they can help them get jobs and affordable housing. You can't, so maybe they can live in the outlying towns right around Nashville.
Yeah, it's great. Wonderful topics. I really appreciate that. Regarding the food, I'm really, really excited about the quality of food. And of course, you serve there.
Well, no, I've seen it. Now, see, I've not been there other days of the year as much. I mean, I've been over there for stories. But Thanksgiving, of course, you expect you'll do it well. But I do know that, now, canned foods make sense, right? Because it's non-perishable, you can store it. But you guys do a great job, I guess, partnering with groups that bring in fresh fruits, vegetables. Do hunters bring you meat?
Hunters bring us meat. We have great relationships with many corporations throughout Nashville. Music City Central being one of those. After great big huge banquets, they'll bring the fresh food over and we're able to serve that. I was just laughing with somebody in another city the other day, and I said, here at Nashville Rescue Mission last night we served lobster.
Yeah. I know.
Because it was leftover from the Music City Center.
It. I mean, and that's where, you know, Reverend Reasoner, there was a day, I'm sure, back in the day where the best they could do for some of these folks when they were going was a bologna sandwich and some chips.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that, and you probably still have bologna sandwiches sometimes. But you told me that story about the lobster. I'm like, what? And well, hey, you're not going to turn that away if that's what they're giving, because that's what they had left over. How awesome is that? Right.
And of course, it's not, you know, a full lobster tail for everybody. We're cutting it up into pieces, but you're a homeless person, you're hurting, you're in poverty, you're with your kids, your wife, your mom, or whoever, and you're sitting down in a place that's going to, you know, give you a plate of food, and in there is good food, nutritional
it's
food,
gonna be fresh.
Salad, fresh vegetables, meats, and so I am so excited about the quality of meals that we serve there.
All the good food, but I got to be honest with you. I love the desserts that we serve up. And that's so much fun when you're there and you see the children coming through and you ask them what kind of pie. You guys have, they're going to have tomorrow all kinds of pies and cakes and all this, and they're all wonderful. And the kids go, can I have 2 of those?
Nick, I want to say this. I have to do a shout out to all of our kids, both kitchen staffs. And we, just like every other restaurant in town, we have surprise health inspections. They come by.
That's right, sure.
But we almost, I mean, very rarely score below 99. It's 99 to 100. If it's a 98, they're feeling really bad about what in the world do we do. But they do a tremendous job of maintaining the kitchen in what I think is just a top-notch way. And so I'm really proud of our kids and staff for doing that.
I think I'm glad I've been back there, and it is spotless. And the moment you walk in there, when you're helping to work, I'll wear my turkey hat tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
But if you're not wearing a hat or something, you're given a hairnet, and you're putting on gloves immediately.
Right.
And that's and it is spotless. It is as clean as any kitchen I've seen.
Yes.
Listen, we need to take a break. When we come back, we'll take more of your phone calls talking about the Nashville Rescue Mission, also Thanksgiving, the holidays, and homelessness as well with our fine guest. We'll be back with more right after this.